The XPS 15 has long been one of Dell's most popular laptops because it combines portability and power. And now for the first time, it's a 2-in-1. So the XPS 15 2-in-1 really hasn't changed much from the XPS design we've seen from Dell the last couple years. You're still getting the silver aluminum lid with the Dell logo, and it's pretty plain, but it's utilitarian, and I still kind of like the way it looks, even if it's getting a little bit stale. And inside, it also still looks pretty much the same. You still get the infinity edge display, which means you get very few bezels, but it also means that the webcam placement is still below the screen, and that means it looks straight up your nose, and that's definitely a messy solution. Dell's moved the webcam to the center rather than being adjusted to the side, but ultimately it's a really annoying place to have it. It doesn't look professional, and Dell really needs to come up with a way to fix that. Still, you're gonna get your soft touch carbon fiber deck, and that feels really nice on your wrists when you're typing. And you get a couple other touches, like a fingerprint reader on the power button. But the biggest design change is really that it flips. It's roughly 4.4 pounds and 0.6 inches thick. And that makes it one of the smaller 2-in-1s we've seen at the 15-inch size. So you can plop this in a backpack, but I'm not gonna say it's super light or super thin or anything that you're gonna notice over any other 15-inch 2-in-1. So the XPS 15 2-in-1 has a keyboard with just 0.6 millimeters of travel. And that's really shallow and usually a recipe for disaster. But not on this computer. It actually feels excellent, and that's because Dell has come up with this technology it calls maglev. It uses magnets and metal plates, so lots of science, to give it a really clicky feeling with a perfect amount of resistance that I really liked. I don't know what kind of wizardry and magnets they have in this keyboard, but I really loved it. There's a bit of a learning curve, but it feels ultimately like you're typing on a much deeper keyboard. In case there was any doubt, the 15.6-inch 4K display on the XPS 15 2-in-1 is tremendous. It is vivid and it really pops. It covers 160% of the SRGB color gamut, and that means your videos, your photos, your games, even your apps, they're all gonna look excellent. But it measured 387 nits of brightness on our light meter, and that's usually pretty good, except some competing laptops like the Microsoft Surface Book 2 and the 15-inch MacBook Pro were even brighter. So if you do a lot of work at night and you want something really bright, you might want to opt for one of those. Still, no one else has pulled off anything exactly like the Infinity Edge display just yet. So it might not be as powerful as your big, thick workstation, but if you need something on the go with something this slim, is surprisingly powerful with Kaby Lake G. Besides the fact that you have this nostril webcam, there's really only one other thing we seriously disliked about the XPS 15 2-in-1, and that is the battery life. It ran for a little under 6.5 hours on our battery test, and it's just not what you need for something that's so portable. So you're gonna need to carry this around with you too. It's probably the big 4K display that's really sucking the battery, and we imagine that if you get the 1080p version, that might be better, but we haven't been able to test that yet. So the XPS 15 2-in-1 starts at around $1,500, and for that, you're gonna get a 1080p display, not this beautiful 4K one, but you're still gonna get Core i5 Kaby Lake graphics and CPU, and you're also gonna get a 256GB SSD. This version is top of the line with 4K, 1TB SSD, and Core i7 Kaby Lake G, and it costs $2,550. So there's gonna be a bunch of configurations in between, so you'll be able to find the one that's right for you. We gave the XPS 15 2-in-1 a 3.5 out of 5, and that score honors this beautiful display, the really comfortable keyboard, and the powerful performance from Kaby Lake G. But it also takes into account the compromises when you take a laptop as well known as the XPS 15 and flip it into a 2-in-1. For Laptop Mag, I'm Andrew Friedman.